All right, I'm going to try to keep this to 30 minutes, and I know that sounds like a long time, but if you had to take 14 hours of information and condense it down to 30 minutes, you'd need 30 minutes too. My goal tonight is to educate you and get you thinking outside of the box that you live in right now, and you'll understand what I mean about that as we go through this information. If you don't know what the topic of the lecture is tonight, the topic is successful actions of the wealthy. So what I want to do first is define wealthy. Now, I'm not talking about wealthy just in terms of monetary value, but for many of us, that is the definition of wealthy. So I'm going to give you the definition of what I know to be wealthy in this country. Wealthy in the top 1 percentile of earners is any one person that earns over $200,000 by their own accord without help of family that is taxable. So if you are one of these people in this room that owns or earns $200,000 by yourself without the help of a spouse or somebody else, you are considered by all standards in this country to be wealthy. Now that may be a shock to some of you because you may, in your world, maybe you don't think $200,000 is a lot of money, because for many of us it's not, depending on our lifestyles. But understand that this is a statistic that's based across the whole of the United States. And also understand that living in New York is probably one of the 2 most expensive states to live in besides Beverly Hills, California. So we do live in a very high affluent area. And if you are earning $200,000 a year, you are considered wealthy by all principles. What I'm going to share with you tonight is the information that I've been getting from the super wealthy. So I'm going to define the super wealthy for you. And I'm going to give you my sources. I'm going to tell you how I know this information is true. This is not pie in the sky. This is real information. This is something that's tangible, and it is real. So according to the IRS and the Social Security Administration, the top 74 earners of 2009 made an average income of the top 74 divided was $510 million per person of the top 74 earners. So the information I am giving to you is not known by the average person. You've probably never heard this before. This is no joke. I've paid a lot of money to get this information because I am learning from these people. And the group that I'm going to talk to you about, you cannot get into. You have to be invited in. And I've been invited in, and I'm choosing to share this with you because I wanted to give something to my group on my last time out as president. So I take this very seriously, and I want you to really get a lot out of this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to quote the people that I'm learning from so you know that these are real people and I'm not making them up. And my key mentor, and again, if you ask Kevin, Kevin will not tell you that this is his information. The gentleman I'm speaking of is Kevin Trudeau. If you haven't heard of him, he makes the infomercials on natural cures they don't want you to know about. He's the guy who created the coral calcium. Kevin Trudeau, at the age of 21, was the youngest person in the history of Massachusetts to own a car dealership and was making upwards to 6 to 7 figures at the age of 21. And Kevin is the type of guy that can think outside the box. So in 1986, if I got my dates right, Kevin was presented with an opportunity to move from Massachusetts to Chicago to take place in marketing this new campaign idea that this gentleman in Chicago had. And the guy's idea was, we could teach you how to improve your memory in an in-home cassette tape series, and it was called Mega Memory. So in 1986, against the wishes of his family, his friends, and his business associates, Kevin Trudeau left his lucrative profession, jumped in a car, drove to Chicago, and took on a salary of $500 a week for the first 3 weeks, and then after that he was going to make his income on complete sales. So when he got to Chicago and started working with the guy that he was working under to work for, it turned out that the guy was a shyster. The guy had multiple names, multiple accounts, he had multiple monies owed to people, so it turned out that he had walked into a time bomb. Now, if you ever talk to Kevin or talk to the people that I work with in this group, they'll tell you, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that nothing in life happens without a good reason. Even disaster, even death. Anything that comes from God and is taken from you, when it's given back to you, is always given back tenfold over, if you can relate to it. And I'll tell you a personal story about that in a few minutes. So Kevin's in a mess. He's got no income coming in. He's looking at an opportunity. He's trying to understand where the opportunity is, and he decides with another guy who was also pulled into this shyster to buy the company out from this guy. So they buy the Mega Memory company, and instead of working for him, they choose to market it themselves. And I don't, did anybody ever see the infomercial back in the 80s? Because I bought Mega Memory when I was a kid. Okay, I bought Mega Memory. I bought it. So I have it. I have it in my garage. I have it. And so Kevin takes this concept and he rolls it over into $50 million in 6 months. $50 million in 6 months. This is not a fluke. This is intention at work. So what I want you guys to start projecting out is that you can intend and create whatever you want. Now, again, maybe your desires are not wealth. Maybe you don't care about money. But, I mean, this is a business networking group. I wrote the lecture based about making wealth because I assumed you all want to make some money. But understand, when I talk to other groups of people, a lot of them aren't interested in money. Their dream has nothing to do with a lot of money. You know, everybody's got different dreams. But I'm telling you, if you apply what I'm going to give you tonight, and it's going to take me a while to get through, but I'll give it to you as quick as I can, and you apply this and believe it, you will work towards the dreams and the aspirations that you want, whatever they are. Okay? All right. So what I'm going to do first is explain to you the habits of people that are most of the people you know, and these are people that we call high potential underachievers. High potential underachievers. I'm going to tell you how they think, what they do, and then I'm going to tell you what the successful people are doing, how they do it, and why they do it. Does everybody understand the flow of the lecture? Okay. So let's talk about the habits and actions of, these are most people. These are people that are classified as high potential underachievers. They have 5 characteristics. Now listen, I'm not here to knock you or break you down, but if you hear a lot of yourself in this, there's good news on the back end. You can flip this around as quick as you want. Don't think because you think you have these characteristics that this is destined to be who you are. A, they procrastinate. So these are high potential underachievers. They procrastinate, they analyze, but they never act. B, they have wide swings of mood and they have wide swings of self-esteem issues. C, they have difficulty making choices for fear of disappointment. D, they are easily paralyzed by fear. And E, they dream big, but they never follow through. Now, listen, before we all point fingers at each other and go, that's her, that's him, just listen, and then it'll all come together at the end. But we've all had these characteristics at some point, and we're all on our own personal journeys of evolution. So understand, if this is you, don't panic. There's a way to get through it. Now, I'm going to give you the types of high potential underachievers. First type is called sleepers. Sleepers are people that have been unawakened and unchallenged in life. They've kind of had nobody that ever pushed their button or helped them find the greatness within themselves. They kind of coast along through life, really don't know where they're going. They just really don't have anything jazzy going on. They're just kind of drifting along like a limp noodle, really nothing happening. Floaters. Floaters drift in and out of opportunities. So this is the person that says, wow, I found this great new thing and I'm going to do this. And then 6 months later, wow, I found this great new thing, I'm going to do this. And wow, and they drift in and out of these, kind of like the Ralph Cramdens of the world, you know? The guy that always has something going on, and Norton, I got this month and we're going to do this, that guy. The next one are delayers. Delayers procrastinate because they always need more information. So you find somebody, you try to teach them something, and you tell them about this great thing you want to do from them. Like, well, give me some more information on it. This is great in advertising. You know, I want to do this, but I need some more information. Well, I just told you the rates. I told you the size of the ad. I told you when it's going to run. Yeah, but I just need some more information. Well, I don't know what other information I can give to you because I've already given you all the information. Well, that's okay. I'm not going to make my decision. That's a delayer. D, checkmaters. Checkmaters have many multiple options open like a chessboard that they never really pick one and run with it. So they have 5 different things they're aware of, and because they're playing chess, they're moving all their pieces around through life, but they don't ever go with one thing. Stop shorts. Stop shorts get excited, they go to the edge of something, and then they stop short just as they go to hit it. They're right there, everything's laid out, the work has been done, you got somebody ready to go, and they derail themselves. I don't know why. Self-doubters, inside, these people just basically have no confidence. So, you know, you try to turn somebody onto something new, and they just say it ain't going to work. And you try to explain how it's going to work, and they doubt it's going to work. And basically, it's really not about you, it's about them.